sun never stops shining. Let me take you to an island.
Welcome back to The Link, everybody, on this Thursday morning as we are heading to the 10 o'clock hour. A very good friend of ours is doing something to help you tap the creativity in each one of us. Now, this may be because you have something to say, you maybe just don't know how to do it, or it may be after the last year, you may have a lot of pent-up frustration, rage, whatever like that. But there is nobody I know that is better suited to teach you how to do this than our friend Joyce Torres, who, by the way, is not on Guam right now. She is in the land of... Joyce, you're in Nashville, Tennessee? Man, the barbecue there is insane.
The land of music, Nashville. There's music, there's whiskey, all that fun stuff.
Oh, man.
Hello, Jason and Sabrina.
Okay,
Thank you for having me.
Can you do three things for me, please, Joyce? Just three things. I mean, I've known you for so long. I consider you a very, very dear friend. Can you get us tickets for the Tennessee Titans game? All right. Can you get us some Tennessee barbecue, and say hi to Elvis if you happen to see him?
I will do all those things. I'll check out Graceland. I'll mail the barbecue, but I don't know about the Titans game. That's a little harder to do with the social distancing, but we'll see what we can do. We'll FaceTime you from the stadium.
Oh, there you go. Well, since you are in Tennessee, what's the tempo there? Because Sabrina now is in quarantine. Obviously, she just came back from Vegas. She was sharing her experience of what it's like to be a Guamanian, and to have the discipline that we have and the anaphemalic spirit, and we take care of our neighbors and everything. How is it like for you to be out there in the States, and what's the tempo, and how are people observing social distancing and that whole thing?
Yeah, no, it's wild. So I'm based out of Los Angeles, so that's completely different. The numbers were really ridiculous, like really unsafe. Like when I'm in LA, I'm in my apartment all the time working from home. So I recently just got vaccinated, and I'm fully vaccinated and safe to travel.
Good for you.
Which is why I made it to Nashville. But no, with Los Angeles, they finally got into the culture of getting it, understanding what it means to put on a mask. Like it's not so much of a hard ask. So that's kind of cool. And now that I think 50% of adults in California are vaccinated or something like that, the statistic. But in the South, here in Tennessee, in the country, it's not as mandated, so it's a little bizarre. I think. I think you don't have to wear it outdoors, but you have to wear it indoors. It's definitely not as aggressive. I think on Guam, what I loved, when you're on Guam, you can feel it. Like people will judge you for not wearing your mask. I feel like it's almost reversed out here. Like they look at you a little funny. Like, why are you so distant? It's like, no, that's what we're supposed to do. But I don't know. I found that it is kind of like that. Anywhere that's not in like a big city, a lot of the small towns that I visited, right, their numbers are so small and they're so spaced out. They're like, what's everyone freaking out about? So it's kind of, it's not so great. I mean, we're being safe, we're doing our part, and I think that's the whole part of it. But I wish they did better.
Okay, that's very fair. And I was just gonna say, I was like, I know you're out of LA and everything, and I've got friends that either work in the TV business or work on movies and everything like that. And I know it's been really hard to come by work, and that's why we had you on, because you've done so much as far as setting up the Breaking Waves Theater Company, and you're doing a lot with like teaching people how to discover the craft of acting and how to hone your skills and everything like that. But it must be insanely difficult for those of you who want to make performance art a career to be out there and like everything basically just dried up.
No, I think so. I think anything with art, especially theater, it's very community based, right? You need an audience, and there's a stage, and it's energy, and it's magical when you're in the same space. So we've had to kind of pivot, and like everyone else, what's the new normal, or how do we live life, because we can't pause for forever. So this workshop is kind of like the bridging of that gap of like so many people, like you said, have so much to say and experience so much, and for people like CJ and I that have been so fortunate to travel and learn different ways to do theater or tell stories, we don't want to gatekeep. We know Guam needs that too. So this is our way of like still being with our community and saying Guam has amazing stories. We want to tell, our community we want to hear from you, but we also know that it's hard when you don't do it all the time. So this workshop's a kind of cool way, or these multiple workshops is a cool way for people to kind of tap into that creativity and expressing themselves in a way that's safe, right? So it's going to be on Zoom. So I know I heard Guam's numbers look really great. I'm so proud of Guam. Every time people ask me how people are on Guam, I'm like, Guam's doing pretty good. So the Zoom workshop's a nice, like, happy medium.
Well, I was going to say.
So let's talk about that then, about because the first workshop, I think it's this weekend.
Yes, the first workshop is this Saturday, and each weekend, so it's only Saturday this weekend, but every weekend after that, it'll be Saturday and Sunday. And we have workshop facilitators from all over the US, which has really been really fun. We have people from California, from New York, from St. Louis, Missouri, from Seattle. And again, it's a way to kind of cultivate this artistic space where we want people to kind of come in and share what they know with our community. And anyone can register. They're free Zoom workshops. And each day will be a different type of storytelling. So this first one is about like writing monologues with Christine. And I love her title. It's Writing Monologues That Sparkle, right? So it's just kind of a little bit the way she looks at monologues, I think, which we love about mental health too, is this idea that everything that is dark doesn't have to be talked about in a dark way. You can put in humor, you can put in joy and love and all of that stuff, and still talk about really serious stuff. And all the workshops are kind of like that, different types of storytelling. And then it's a full list. There's so many.
I wanted to ask Joyce because, like, well, first of all, I was going to say, you're so much a fan and a practitioner of the stage. By the way, you're just right down the street from the Grand Ole Opry, so I'm sure you're going to pass by there one of these days. But
yes, it's such a cool space.
Yeah, but as long as I've known you, and you have such a pure respect and reverence for for the art of stagecraft, right? In doing these Zoom-based workshops and everything, when you're teaching people how to like I said, tap the expressiveness within themselves and tell the story that they want to tell. As long as I've known you, you've always said when you're working with like young actors or directors, you always say, feed off your environment, use your peripheral vision, play off your fellow actors. How is the audience responding to you? What's going on the stage. With Zoom, it's obviously very now two-dimensional, and it's very, there's a separation. I mean, I'm sure that's a challenge for you, but what do you also see as opportunity now?
Yeah, I think it's honestly what's really cool about Zoom, right? This idea, it's almost like we're kind of bridging the gap between theater and film. So it gets to become a lot more intimate. I think, at least for me, right, when I'm working with people and directing them in their own rooms, right? So it's like, it's so intimate. Like, this is the space that you feel all of these things already, right? When you're having a bad mental health day, where are you at? You're in your room. So when people get to like create in that space or act in that space, yes, I think it does lose a little bit of the lackluster, right? You like working off of people. Like, I'm so excited and ready for that. But I think what's really special about Zoom is that now, like, I can be in Nashville, Tennessee, and talk to amazing people like you guys all the way in Guam. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much more connected.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, there's obviously a couple of hiccups that can happen, but that idea of like sharing space, I think, is so much more accessible now to diaspora, which is what we're really excited for, is to get a lot of people that have relations to Guam or from Guam. This is their way to showcase their work on Guam without having to fly. So again, a team theater, but I think, this is a nice happy medium for now.
Yeah, for now. And I miss watching you on stage, Joyce. I gotta say, you are awesome.
Me too.
Thank you so much.
The first time I actually met Joyce, I watched her perform at UOG, and Joyce, I say this story all the time when you come on the show, and I was like, I watched Joyce perform in Mother Courage, and I was blown the hell away. I mean, I laughed. The sad parts really, really got to me, and everything like that. I mean, and that is, and we said, we've got to have her on the show. She's really, she really encapsulates what it means to perform this way.
Thank you guys so much. And thank you guys always for being so supportive of the arts. I think every time we have something, you guys are so generous with your time, and we really appreciate that. And I hope, people that are listening in your community, right? If, all of like what was talked about earlier, there's so much going on and people have so much to say. And we hope that this workshop gives them a nice way to be expressive in a safe space, right? Because mental health and substance abuse and suicide prevention, they're kind of dark. They can kind of be dark. So we just wanted to do something that gave people a safe space, but also a space to talk about that. I think that's another thing that we want to highlight for Guam. More spaces to really have, deep, progressive conversations. I think that's what we're really looking for.
Now, Joyce, I can already hear people watching this right now. They're invariably asking, and they're like, okay, I'm not a professionally trained thespian. I don't do a lot of like introspection and everything like that. I don't want to show up and be, like that guy who's in this room of, like amazingly talented performance artists. And I don't want to be like a newbie and everything like that. But I still would really like to participate in everything. It's not at all like an elite club. You're welcoming all comers, right?
Yes, this is what's really great about this is we're opening it to everyone, people that haven't written anything ever or performed or danced, any of that. You can come in completely fresh and green. We want to give you space to be creative and to express, but we're not going to ask you to perform if you don't want to. It's not one of those. It's just one of those things where you're going to get to participate in these activities in the workshop, again, to kind of inspire you. That's all we want to do, inspire you. But if you do get inspired and you do end up, for example, writing a monologue or a play or a song or any of that. We're doing all of this in an effort to prep for Unspoken, which is coming around for the 3rd year. And we're looking for original works that are due by June 5th. Anyone that wants to submit can submit. And then from there, we kind of curate. But you don't have to perform at all. You don't even have to turn on your video if you're uncomfortable. Like if you just want to be in the space and learn, that's what's most important to us. Like, and wherever you're comfortable, but it is a cool space, again, because it's Zoom that with the activities, like even the movement one, sometimes you're not even going to be in front of the camera. You're going to be like walking around your room and making sounds and doing really fun breathing stuff. So anyone and all levels of performance or performance knowledge, you are invited and you are so welcome.
Outstanding. Let me ask you now, like, there's going to be a lot of people, obviously, like young people who are finishing high school right now. They're going off to college, and obviously, even though we're still kind of operating under very tense times, you can major in anything you want to, like in college. You can be a physicist, you can be a statistician, you can be an accountant. I'd like you to kind of give your push for the performance arts, what it's meant to you, and if someone feels that they have a calling for the craft and everything like that, like what they can expect if they want to get into the arts, because you've always been a champion for this kind of work.
Yeah. No, I think it's, everyone to each their own path, right? But I think I always say, whenever you have a calling, that calling comes to you because it's your calling. Not everyone's going to hear the same thing. So for the artists that are out there that hear that calling to perform or tell a story, it's probably because you're supposed to be telling stories, right? And why we should do it. My answer is I think 2020 and a little bit of 2021 is a perfect indication, right? When we were at home, what were we doing? We were watching things, right? Theater, art, you were watching movies, you were watching TV shows, you were listening to music. We don't realize how much art is absorbed in our day-to-day. And I think if you were to remove that, life wouldn't be as interesting. And I think every job is important. But the job of the artist or the job of someone that brings entertainment is a big, for as long as we can remember, going back to the cave people, right? Storytelling has been an art form. And to anyone that wants to pick up the call, we need more storytellers, especially on Guam. There's so many, that was our way of passing down our history. If you are Chamorro or, that's part of our history too. And I hope you honor that. And if you're interested, try it out and do it. We need more,
all right,
more performers,
and certainly,
and
if for whatever reason you don't believe you have the gift inside you, Joyce has always been someone that says there's creativity in each and every one of us. And please make sure to register for Joyce's workshops, because they are going to allow you to hone that craft and really tap that gift that each one of us has. It's bwtcguam.com, Breaking Waves Theater Company, Guam.com. Joyce, I got to run because we're up against the top of the hour, but I thank you so very much. Please be safe out there. And once again, enjoy Nashville. It's a wonderful city.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.
Okay, when are you coming home, by the way?
Bye. Bye. I'll be back in August and September for the show.
Excellent. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you then.
All right.
All right, adios.
Okay, adios. And
Adios.
please make sure to stay tuned, everybody,
Bye.
because when we come back, we've got Cover Me featuring a very, very familiar face. You do want to stay tuned for what is coming up. Special thing right ahead.
KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time each Friday to talk food, taste food, and bring you all the latest and greatest in food from King's Restaurants and Ruby Tuesday Guam, old faves, new hits, and everything on the menu in between. It's